This script right here that you are looking at booked me and my team 73 meetings last week, as you can see right here. And so today I'm going to, one, bring you through the entire script so you can steal it. Two, share with you why it worked, because it's more than just the script that allowed us to book 73 meetings last week. And three, I'm going to create an entire new script / framework with this exact framework that you can use, and you can actually get this blueprint for free somewhere in the description. There's a Google Doc, get it and then copy it and make your own copy. So without further ado, let's dive into the action here, because that's what we're all here for. Okay, so as you can see, this is December 2nd. This is the last time we updated it. It's really good. So I'm going to run you through it, and then we're going to explain why it worked. Hello, hey name, how's it going? Okay, don't worry about my tonality here. And then they're going to say, oh, it's going good. Who's this? You're going to say, oh, it's going good. To be honest, it's just Stefan here from company. I'm going to be honest, we've never spoken before, so can I quickly explain why I'm calling? Okay. Then they're going to say, sure, what's this all about? You're going to say, awesome. Well, to be honest, I assume this probably isn't your first rodeo with a cold call, so I'll keep it short out of respect. If we could guarantee you 3 deals in the next 90 days on a pay-as-you-close basis without you ever having to talk to unqualified leads or play the numbers game, would that be worth 41.2 seconds of your time? And then they're either going to say yes or no. If you've done it with the right tonality, they'll say yes. Great. I guess my timer's on, so I'll be brief. I like to be funny in my cold calls, so I like to make a little joke there. I guess just to be clear here, we consume all the risk and work with just a couple of realtors at a time to build out their entire acquisition process from A to Z, so they don't have to worry about where your next deal is coming from. All you have to do is talk to the pre-qualified leads booked in your calendar and help them. Does that kind of make sense? And then they're going to say yes or no. If they say no, you would say, how come? What part? If they say yes, you're okay, sweet. Well, I'll super quickly explain the process so you kind of know. A rough overview of what we currently do is we audit your entire acquisition process to see where and what we need to modify, streamline, automate, etc. We build up funnels, VSLs, landing pages. We use one ad, one funnel, one assistant to simplify and streamline the entire process of targeting ready to go buyers and sellers to book them straight into your calendar. And on the back end, we use a 10-year passive prospecting system which nurtures and keeps you top of mind for your leads, even those who are just looking around and will come around at some point. So you don't have to ever prospect or follow up with leads ever again. So name, do you think that could maybe help you? They're going to say yes. You're going to say, how come? What part specifically do you think would help you? And then they're going to tell you, and then you've now made a hook that you can latch onto to increase the likelihood of them booking a meeting. And then you're going to say, okay, awesome. Well, to be honest, I want to learn a bit more about you to see if this could actually work for you and see if you'd be a good fit for us. Would it be appropriate for me to set up a call with you and our CEO to see if this could even work for you and give you a detailed rundown of how this all works? And they're going to say, sure, I'd be open to that, or I wouldn't be opposed, or whatever. And then you book them in, you confirm they will show. Now, let's talk about why the script works. And then let's also make an entire new script with this exact framework so you can duplicate it into your own business. So the first thing is first, okay? One of the biggest emphasis I want to put on this is tonality. You could use this entire script. If you have bad tonality, you won't book a single meeting. Tonality is everything. For context, my tonality when reading it out to you was shit, because I was just reading it out. I wasn't actually using proper tonality. Tonality is huge, okay? And I'll get into that a little later in this video. But here's what happens, okay? Depending on if they answer the phone or if you answer the phone is what you're going to say, right? Like, typically they'll answer the phone and say, hey, this is so-and-so speaking. Who's this? And then you would go right to this. You can say, oh, hey, John, how's it going? How you doing? And then, but then they're going to try and rush you to be like, who is this? Right? And so typically, depending on if they answer the phone, you would just go right into this. If you answer the phone, you'd say, oh, hey, John, how's it going? Or hey, is this John? Whatever you want to say. This doesn't matter too much. Now, next thing, you get into this. And the reason why you say just, this is a huge, really important word, I'll even bold it, is because on a cold call, truthfully, no matter how good you are, you never have the frame. You're the one cold calling them, you don't have the frame. Simple as that, you do not have the frame. And so when you say, oh, it's just, it lowers sales pressure. It lowers the sales pressure, it lowers their guard, and they can breathe. Oh, it's just Stefan. Oh, okay, cool. You're not hyping yourself up to be a big deal. Trust me, this shit works on a cold call. Do it, okay? It's just Stefan here from company name. If you don't have a company name, that's fine, it doesn't matter. You literally don't need a company name. We just have it in here because we use it, alrighty? You don't need it. And then, here's where tonality matters, but I'm going to be honest, we've never actually spoken before. You could even say, I'm going to be honest, this is a cold call, whatever you prefer. So can I quickly explain why I'm even calling you? Okay, now once again, tonality is huge here. You have to have the right tonality. You can't just say, "Oh, it's just Stefan here. I'm going to be honest." Like you can't do that. Okay, you got to have the right tonality associated with these words on the screen. Okay, because it's 80%. It's 80% how you say it, 20% what you say. So the script only actually makes up 20% of the cold call. Now let's dive into the next part. And then they're going to say, "Sure, go ahead, make it quick. What's this all about?" Awesome. To be honest, I assume this isn't your first rodeo with a cold call. The reason why I say that, the reason why I've put it in there is to lower their guard. To be like, this guy understands, this guy respects me, right? Because truth is, it probably isn't their first cold call. And so when you're saying, I know this isn't your first one, so I'll keep it short out of respect, they instantly view you as higher status because like, oh, this guy actually kind of cares about me. And then right away, get right into the guarantee, right? What's in it for them? Why am I calling? What is in this for them? If we could guarantee 3 deals in the next 90 days on a pay-as-you-close basis without you ever having to pain point number 1 or pain point number 2, would that be worth, and then however many seconds of your time, right? You can speak this out and calculate how long it takes you, and then say that in there. You could even joke here, would that be worth 2 hours every time? I'm just kidding. Would that be worth a couple seconds of your time, right? Whatever you want. 41.2 seconds, I believe, is how long it took to say this part. I'm not entirely sure. It's a random number. It doesn't fucking matter, okay? Next, they're going to say, "Sure, go ahead, whatever," right? If they don't, obviously they hang up, the conversation ends. And then you're going to say, "Haha, well, great, I guess my timer's on," right? Relating back to the joke. We want to make people laugh on the cold call, to make it conversational, to make it friendly, to make them want to open up, okay? "Haha, great, I guess my timer's on, so I'll be brief." I guess just to be clear here, because I want to be clear, I want to make sure that they understand what's going on. We consume all the risk and only work with a couple of realtors at a time to build up their entire acquisition process from A to Z, so they don't have to worry about where the next deal is coming from. All you gotta do is talk to pre-qualified leads in your calendar and help them. Does that kind of make sense? You want to ask these questions often. Does that make sense? Do you get that? Would that help you? You want to ask these questions to, 1, keep it conversational, and 2, to get them saying yes, to get them being like, "Yeah, this works. This would be good. This would be good. Yeah. Get them saying yes, right? And so you just want to make sure they understand what you're saying. Right? Because if they don't, it's like, well, then you're just blabbing on and they don't give a fuck. So make sure they understand. So that's why we do these little check-in questions, I call them. Okay, check-in questions. You can do them multiple times, even in normal sales. You do check-in questions, alrighty? And then here's where the big chunk comes, okay? Okay, sweet. I'll super quickly explain the process so you know what's kind of going on. Here's a rough overview of what we do. We audit your entire acquisition system, yada, yada, yada. We basically just say what we do. Here's what we do so you have an idea. Okay? And then we hit on some pain points again, alrighty? So you don't have to ever prospect or follow up with leads ever again. See the dots? That is intentional to make you pause there, to lower your tonality, to make it sound like this is important. So name. Do you think that could maybe help you? Right? And you do that like kind of like concerned, curious tonality. And then they say yes. You say, how come, what part? You make them admit that this is something they want, and you get them to say exactly why they want it. Right? It's a huge, cool psychology trick. Use it when someone says, you ask them if they think this could help them, and then when they say yes, you ask them why, because then they'll start to tell themselves why they need it. It's an amazing psychology trick. Use it, okay? And then simply after this, all you do is book them in. Okay, if you don't have a CEO, if it's just you calling, you would just say, great, well, to be honest, I need to know a little bit more about you to see if this could work for you, and I'd also like to share a bit more about the system and see if it's in alignment with what you're looking for. Would it be appropriate, or would you be opposed to us hopping on a quick chat later this week to kind of run through this entire thing? Who's going to say no to that if they've already gone through the whole thing? Tell you what, 90% of people that get here usually book. If you just say it right, alrighty? You handle the objections. Okay, you handle all the objections here, like whether it's, oh, send me an email or do this or do that. You handle the objections, you book them in. If you can handle the objection, you can almost always book them in. If they just send me an email, no worries, what's your email so I can send it over to you? And just so I know, are you more of a, this is what I always say, I'll say, sure, shoot me over, give me your email real quick and I'll send it to you. And just so I know, are you looking more for like a visual of this? Like, or are you looking like, how are you what kind of information are you looking for? And then they tell you, and you're like, okay, great, John, if I could, show that to you on a super quick 5-minute call and kind of just run you through it because it might be a bit complicated with that, would you be opposed to that idea? And they're usually going to say, oh, no, that's fine, right? You just make it seem like it's a benefit to them. Hey, it's a quick 5-minute call, I'm running through the system, boom, bam, bam, biddly damn, book them in the calendar, alrighty? Now, obviously, after this, you book them in, you confirm they'll show. And John, just to be clear, just out of respect for you, if something comes up on my end, I'll let you know. Out of respect for us, if something comes up on your end, alrighty, will you let us know? Okay, cool. If I don't hear from you, I can count on you to show up then, correct? Cool. Bam. Have a great day. See ya. Call is booked. Now, why does this script work? Okay, why does the script work so well? What makes this script work so well versus other script? We'll tell you the first thing first. It's not actually the script, it's the tonality. We've used multiple different scripts, alrighty. There's a ton of different scripts that work. All scripts that we've used have booked meetings, some more, some less, but whether that's the script or the tonality is up for debate. I would argue it's the tonality, but we'll get into this. I kind of want to talk about why I think the script works, because obviously if you said, hey, we suck and we're terrible and we don't guarantee you anything, no one would book. So why does this work? Well, you claim your big, bold guarantee right away. Right here it says on a pay-as-you-close basis, which will interest most people, and you're saying it's without you ever having to do 2 common pain points. And then you just ask them to listen a little longer. And then you go on a little bit more about what you do. And then you ask them to listen a little longer again. And you keep giving them these little bites to get them to say yes to you, and eventually you've pulled them in, you've reeled them in, right? You've casted. Okay, you casted. You showed them the bait, they took the bait, and now you start reeling them in. Reel here. You got them on the hook, and you're bringing them into shore. Alrighty? And so then you kind of explain the process. This isn't even super necessary, and this actually confuses a lot of people, but it increases the likelihood that you book, because then they kind of understand what you do, so they know if it's something they want. Now, I will say, if you're still here, the script sucks. Okay, why does it suck? You book a lot of unqualified people. This is the truth, okay? Like, I'm not here to fuck around. Like, the reason why we're able to book 73 meetings is because everybody's unqualified. You're booking fucking meetings with people who are desperate, who haven't closed a deal for months, and are like, please just give me deals. And when they hear they don't have to pay up front, they're like, oh my god, please, yes. That's why we book so many meetings. So there's a lot of unqualified people. There's a lot of people who don't show because they don't even know what the fuck you do, because this is confusing, and so they just book to book. That's the truth. That's the reality. No guru will tell you this. No guru will tell you this. I'll tell you this. This script books you a ton of unqualified people and a ton of people who no-show. But it still books a fuck ton of meetings. And one of my favorite sayings from Alex Ramosi is create flow, monetize flow, add friction. So your first goal is just to be booking more sales calls. When you book more sales calls, you can refine your sales process. You can get better at sales. You can become an overall better person. Agency owner. Matter of fact. And so this script is really good for just getting people in the door to just start practicing and start learning and start seeing what works, what doesn't work. Work on your tonality, work on your sales, work on your objection handling, work on your speaking skills, etc., etc. And so I think what we'll do is when I rebuild the script in a few seconds here, I'm going to rebuild it in a way that might get you some more qualified people. Okay, because I'm full transparency here. This is the script we used to book a fuck ton of meetings, but we've changed it since, because we were booking unqualified people, and our sales process is good, and we can book with other scripts, so therefore we're doing that. And so I'm going to give that to you as well, okay, because I like to think I help people. Anyways, that's a different topic. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to copy the script, and we're going to make you a new one. Okay, this will be down below in the description for you to copy yourself, to implement and fill in the gaps within your own business. Alrighty, so but 1 second. Okay, listen, just stay with me here. The first thing I want to say is, before we go make this, if you do not have the correct tonality, none of this matters. None of this matters. The script does not fucking matter. I'm here making a YouTube video about scripts so I can get views, okay, because these videos perform well, and to give value. But if there's one tip of value I can give you, it's that the script does not matter. I can assure you that as much as you think the script matters, there's a reason why you've tried Thomas Connect, Iman Gaji, Joe Kaplan, Dylan Wilson, everybody's script, and still doesn't work for you. It's because you have the improper, bad tonality. That's the reason you're not booking. It's not because the script is bad, it's because you don't have good tonality. Tonality is 80% of it. It's 80% how you say it, 20% what you say. So focus more on your tonality rather than making a new script. But regardless, I'm still going to give you a script that works for booking meetings. Okay, it's been proven to work. So let's title this. What's today? Today's the 4th. Okay, Main, December 4th. So here's the intro. Okay, hello. Hey, name, how's it going? Okay, same concept. We're going to keep this as a good opener. It's just name from company. I'm going to be honest, we've actually never spoken before, so can I quickly explain why I'm even calling you? And just for context, this is hook. Right, to hook them in, to get them to say yes. Right, so that's the point of this. Now, awesome. To be honest, I assume this isn't your first rodeo, so this, for context, okay, what I'll actually do is light choke to relieve pressure. Okay, so that way you'll have this. Okay, cool. Sure, respect. If we could, and then here's where it comes in. if we could guarantee, and like I said, I'm making a blueprint for all of you guys to use, so you can see my thought process while making a script. So if we could guarantee plus biggest benefit. For example, when I say biggest benefit, ours was that you didn't have to pay up front. That was our biggest benefit, was on a pay-as-you-close. Well, obviously, we don't do that anymore, but our biggest benefit was it's on pay-as-you-close. Maybe your biggest benefit is that it's a free trial, or maybe your biggest benefit is that they get a month free, or maybe your biggest benefit is that you X. Whatever your biggest benefit is to your service, you put that in here, okay? So if we could guarantee you plus biggest benefit without and then without pain point 1 plus or and pain point 2. Like, I'm going to give you my thought process while making the script live for you all. Okay, so the reason why we say this is because, like I told you, joke here. We want to keep a joke in the beginning, some sort of joke to make them respect us, lower sales pressure, etc. Keep it short or respect, because I respect people. If we could guarantee, in case you want to make our guarantee first so they want to listen further, if we could guarantee you plus our biggest benefit without pain point number 1, so common pain point, and pain point number 2, so 2 common things that people struggle with, would that be worth X seconds of your time? Okay? And so right here you could even do, this is actually hook plus transparency. Okay, because for context, you could even say, I'm going to be honest, this is a cold call, do you want to hang up? Or whatever the case is. You just want them to agree that they're going to listen to hear you out. Okay, so actually I'll put it in here. Make them agree to hear you out. Okay, this is like my thought process. You guys can get inside my mind when I make a script. Alrighty? So simple, and just for context, this is huge. Okay, I already told us it's to downplay yourself, to lower sales pressure, to make them think of you as, it's just this person. It's not a huge deal. Okay, now we've gone through the first part. We've gone through the hook part. Okay, the part like the pass through. This is really these are both pass throughs, but that's a different topic. Now let's get into the actual pitch. Great, I guess my timer's on, so you can keep that, but the point is, like, make a joke here, make it lighthearted. Okay, so if I could put in here anything, I would say, make them laugh. Okay, and that's done with the timer thing. Okay, I guess to be clear here, and then here's where it's what you do in 2 sentences. So here's what you, just to be clear here, here's what we do in 2 sentences. All you have to do is nothing. Call the leads, call the pre-qualified leads, close the deals, whatever the case is. Most of you run some sort of done for you / done with you offer. And so right here you would say, all you have to do is call the leads, close the deals, sit on your ass, film a video, whatever the case is. You just say, all you got to do is this so you can benefit. Does that kind of make sense? Okay, so I guess to be clear here, here's what I do, and all you have to do is film a video so you can get 1 million views. Close the deal so you can make 10K next month. Whatever your thing is, it's like you talk about what they do so you can benefit. Okay, I do this and you do this so you can benefit. Simple. Okay, you just fill in the blanks here. Here's what you do, here's what they do so you can benefit, or so they can benefit. Okay, does that kind of make sense? Okay, and I'm going to say this is important because this is a check-in question. Alrighty, so this is important. Does that kind of make sense? It's important. It's a check-in question. Okay, don't actually say this. Alrighty? Now, they're going to say yes. If they say no, does that not make sense? You're going to say, no worries, what part doesn't make sense? And then you just go on to kind of handle the objection. If they say, I don't really understand what you do, be like, oh, okay, no worries, I'll super quickly explain the process to try and make it make more sense. And you just go down to here. Right? If they say, oh, this, oh, that, you just handle the objection. Okay, and then you're gonna be like, sweet. Here, I'll super quickly explain the process. Here's a rough overview of what we currently do. And then this is literally more detailed version of what you do, positioned as a benefit to them. The reason why I say this like this is because you give a more detailed version of what you do, but you have to position it as a benefit to them. Hey, we do all these things so you don't have to do this, or so you don't struggle with this problem, right? It's like, we do this so you don't have to do this. So you give a more detailed version of what you do, but you position it as a benefit to them. Hey, we take care of your entire acquisition process so you only have to focus on closing deals and not following up with prospects. It's like, you're explaining what you do, but you're also telling them why it's beneficial to them. Because if you don't talk about the benefit to them, it doesn't matter. And then, so you don't have to... big problem ever again. Okay, so we do this so you don't have to biggest problem ever again. So we run your ads for you so you don't ever have to fuck around at midnight trying to figure out why your ads aren't performing. It's whatever the biggest perceived benefit problem to your client or prospect is. Okay, ever again. So name. Do you think that could maybe help you? ... How come? ... What part? Okay, we can keep this all the same because it's very important. This is another checking question, right? And make sure you put a lot of emphasis on these dots. Okay, so you don't have to big problem, so you don't have to follow up with leads ever again. So John, I don't know. Do you think that could maybe help you? And then, oh yeah, I think so. And how come? Like what part specifically do you think would work for you? Right? You gotta have that good tonality, almost like the concerned, curious doctor tonality. We call it the doctor tonality, right? A doctor isn't like, oh, hey, you have cancer. Or, hey, do you want to try this pill? No. They're like, yeah, Stefan, so we kind of have two choices. You could either, right? It's like you want to have that kind of doctor tonality. And so that's kind of what you want to use here, that curious, interested, almost worried, like, tonality. So, like, do you think that could maybe help you? And one of the best ways to get better tonality is to play it out facially. For example, if you're trying to say something super happy, it's hard to say something super happy when you're not smiling. Like I can't. Right? So if I want to say something super happy, like, man, I love you, it's like you're gonna smile, move around. If you're curious or if you're like concerned, you're probably gonna lean in. So John, like, do you think that could maybe help you? Right? It's like you lean in if you're concerned, right? If you're curious, you'd be like, so John, like tell me, do you think that could maybe work for you? Right? It's like you're curious. So like when you're talking on the phone, I know you're not looking at the person, but like still use these facial expressions because it makes your tonality so much easier when you play it out visually, like physically. Anyways, let's move on to make the script more for you. Cool. And the how come, what part, right? And then here's where I mentioned we're gonna do some problem awareness. Okay? Problem awareness stage. So you're gonna say, sweet name, and just so I can get a gauge. I don't know how the fuck you spell gauge. I don't know. I think it's something like this. What are you currently doing about X? So like problem, like what are you currently doing about leads? What are you currently doing about client acquisition? ... How is that going? And then what do you like about it? And this is actually not even problem awareness, this is situation awareness. Okay, and this is just so you can kind of get a gauge, so you can kind of relate it back. And sweet, just so I can engage, what are you currently doing about leads? How do you currently get your clients? How do you currently close deals? How's that going? What do you like about it? And then you could say, if there's anything you could change, would you? Now listen, you don't have to use these word for word, but you want to get some sort of gauge on their current situation to further qualify them. So you can kind of get an understanding of what they're currently doing and what they're looking for. Right? And so So what are you currently doing about X? What are you currently doing about problem? Or how are you currently getting leads? How's that going? What do you like about it? If there's anything you could change, what would it be? Right? And it's like, oh, and then they say, let's say they say, oh, I would change this. Oh, why this? And then you kind of get into their problem to be like, to make them, one, more likely to show up, and two, qualify them and get a bit better understanding of who they are. So this isn't exactly word for word what you want to say, but if I give you one, look up Situation Awareness by Jeremy Miner, and he'll give you a really good idea of what you want to say here to kind of get a gauge on what they're currently doing. Alrighty? Now, let's move into the last part here. Okay, awesome. Well, I'd love to see if you would be a good fit for our team. So basically here we're going to say, awesome. Well, I'd love to, let's just do this. Awesome. Well, I would love to see if what we do is in alignment with what you want. More info about it. Would you be opposed to a super quick call? So, okay, awesome. I'd love to see if what we do is in line with what you want. This way we position ourselves as somebody who wants to work with our clients, right? Somebody who wants to work with them, not against them. So when we say, I'd love to see if what we do is in alignment with what you want, therefore they're like, oh, this guy cares about me. So I'd love to see if what we do is in alignment with what you want and share a bit more info about it. Would you be opposed to a super quick call later this week to chat further about solving problem, right? To chat further about getting more leads. Cool. Book them in, confirm the show. Okay, so confirm their show is literally you just saying something like, hey, you know, unless an unfortunate accident happens, can I confirm that you'll show up on this time? Or, hey, if out of respect, if something happens on my end, I will text you before to let you know I can't make the meeting. Can you do the same? Or whatever the case is, however you want to frame a way for them to show up, you could do it. I'd be like, hey, John, you sound like a really committed person. I just want to double check that this is the time slot you're confirming for and you will show up, correct? Awesome. Hey, I really like you. Don't fucking say that. I take that back. Do not say that, okay? Don't say you really like them. That's fucking weird. A good thing we got a little laugh in on this video. And then just some sort of way to make them confirm that they'll show up. Right? Super simple, just some little psychology. You can even look it up if you want. And that is how I would do this. So, if you want this template of a good cold call that will work, I will drop it in the description. Okay, make your own copy. Don't request access. Make your own copy. Fill in the blanks yourself, and then you have an amazing script. And this has been my thought process for booking, for actually creating a script that books so many meetings from just cold calling. Alrighty, now before I end this video, once again, I'm going to say it one more time, okay? It's not the script, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So focus more on your tonality than you do the words. That'll bring you amples further. And the second thing, okay, is that you just need to do this. You just need to do it. You need to do it, do it. You need to practice, right? The first day, you're not going to book many meetings. And actually, the third thing I want to say is this script, if you do it right, is going to get you a lot of meetings, but unqualified meetings. Like I said, alrighty? So, if you want more qualified meetings, do something like the UK's most hated sales trainer. His script is really good. It's very problem awareness heavy, right? If you want to book really qualified meetings, which most of you probably don't need, but if you want to, I would recommend taking more of a doctor's approach, like basically saying, like asking them a lot more questions, trying to find out the situation, trying to find out the problem, basically asking them questions so you can get a gauge on what they're doing to see if what you do is even right for them. Alrighty, same way a doctor would when you come in their office and say, hey doctor, I have a headache. The flip side is, instead of you going into the office, the doctor's coming to you saying, hey, a lot of people come to me saying I have a headache. Perhaps, maybe you have a headache. I don't know, this is a very generalized term, but I thought I'd throw it out there. So, that has been the video on how this script booked me and my team 73 meetings last week. And so there you go. Now you have it. Alrighty, I fucking pulled the curtains back. I showed you literally the word for word script up here. Okay, so if you want the framework so you can make your own scripts, there you go. And I also brought you inside my mind to give you the thought process of how I make scripts that work. Now listen, one last thing is like there's a ton of different scripts you can make, right? Like there's a ton of different types of script. This is a very basic, very beginner level script. This is not very advanced at all. This is very, very beginner level. And so this will work pretty good if you are a beginner, right? If you're more advanced, I recommend doing a lot more of the situation questions, problem awareness, right? Like doing more of the first 1, 2, and maybe even 3 stages of the NEPQ framework. I recommend doing a lot more kind of questioning and a lot more, not so much pitching, but more talking about the prospect, right? Like the best salespeople don't talk about themselves, they talk about the prospect. Here you're talking a lot about you, which is why I said it's a beginner script. Alrighty, beginners, this is good for you. Alrighty, but if you want to be more, if you're more advanced and you want to take that next step, I recommend really diving into more questions on your cold call. And instead of talking so much about you and what you do, talk about the prospect. Ask them questions. Talk about them. Same in sales. You should be talking about the prospect, not about you. Who gives a fuck about what you do? Right? I know that this script is talking about all what you do, but yes, if we want to get really good at sales, talk about the prospect, don't talk about what you do. That's the best sales tip I could ever give you. Is do not talk about what you do, talk about what the prospect does, what they want. Alright, I can guarantee they'll bring you so much further in sales. Anyways, if you like this video, first off, comment down below and let me know, because I just spent the last 30 minutes recording this in hopes it would provide some of you some value. And second off, go watch some of my other content. I post videos like this all the time. I'm scaling a company from 0 to 7 figures and documenting the entire process so you can see how I did it, so you can do the exact same thing. So, if that interests you, hit that subscribe button, alrighty, and maybe you can join me on my journey. Anyways, I'll chat with you guys in the next video. Stay tuned, so we got some bangers coming soon. Peace.